Hey, it's Mark again with the 7 Pillars to Reshape Your Life program. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the A in the acronym RESHAPE, which stands for accountability. I'm going to try not to get political with regard to this personal accountability issue, but I think it's one of the biggest challenges we have today. And being a relatively conservative person, politically, fiscally, just in general, I don't believe that we're doing a good enough job in this area of personal accountability. I find quite a few people that I run into seeking out blame when something goes wrong. And although you probably have the right to blame other people or other circumstances, I know that I've been certainly tempted to do that in the past, because one of my biggest trials and tribulations in my life has been a fairly contentious divorce, which caused a lot of pain for me, a lot of material loss, a lot of pain for my kids. A lot of it was unnecessary, and when it really was dark, it was very easy for me to look around and find someone else to blame. I could blame judges, I could blame attorneys, I could blame my ex-wife. Doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't help. It doesn't alleviate any pain. It might give you like a second of relief. But at the end of the day, the only way to go about anything, professionally or personally, emotionally or spiritually, is to look back and say, what could I have done to either preclude that from happening, prevent that from happening, or at the very least, making sure that it doesn't happen again. And I think when you focus your energy, personally and professionally, on your own personal level of accountability, you do two things. One is you have a more immediate and favorable impact on whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And secondarily, you're exercising control over something that you actually have control over. You don't have control over the actions of someone else. You don't have control over the words of someone else or the deeds. And frankly, over the circumstances that might surround you, from inane things like the weather to your mood, any of those things, bad people, nasty people, disrespectful people, you don't have control over any of those things. The only thing you have control over is your own personal level of accountability. And I think when I train people, when I mentor people, when I coach people, I really try and focus on this, because if you think about it, when you can control something, then you have an impact on it. You can affect it positively. When you don't have control over something and you attempt to exercise control over it, that just leads to frustration. It doesn't certainly lead to good results, positive results, progress, discovery, any of those positive things. So in our program, you'll find us talking about personal accountability a lot. And I would invite you to hold us personally accountable to the lessons that we teach, the tools that we offer, the advice that we give. And as I used to tell my kids when they were in significant states of confusion during the divorce, because divorce in the best of circumstances is at least confusing and painful for children, I often would say to them, if they heard distinctly different things from people, I would say, you want to find the fork, the intersection of what someone is saying and what someone is doing. Because when actions and words intersect and they're the same, that's where you find the truth. That's where you find integrity. And when someone is saying one thing and doing something else, you will usually find an absence of truth. And that's a really good way of looking at things when you're not sure who to trust. I mean, my goodness, in this political landscape, who can you trust? But I'm much more interested in someone's actions than I am in their words. And I think that is the key to being able to hold someone else accountable and to also be able to hold yourself personally accountable. What are you doing with your hands? What's the work that you're doing? What are the things that you're doing? What are your actions? And are you supporting those actions with your words? So personal accountability is a big one for us, and you're going to hear us talk a lot about that in the program. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks.